Welcome to another episode from the archives. In this edition, I'm sharing with you 10 things not to do when you're pretty sure or certain that you're experiencing narcissistic abuse. But before we dive into that, I want to share one story from an End the Cycle member of her transformation taking the program. Before End the Cycle, I was overwhelmed, my head was spinning, I was constantly hurt and in distress and had no clue why other than that my relationship was unhealthy. The program helped me to see the dynamics at play, know that I'm not crazy or the one causing the chaos, know that yes, I do play a part in the dance, and to take responsibility for my own well-being. These are valuable life tools and essential when dealing with a covertly abusive partner because generic advice doesn't work with them. I feel like I'm armed with the tools I need to move forward. So this is the thing with my program End the Cycle, and those are the types of results that I hear from women very quickly over and over and over again, even when they have been women that have been in therapy for decades and feel like they've gotten nowhere, because it gets to the root. And when you get to the root, you see a ripple effect. So the impact of doing the inner work on yourself ripples out onto your kids and in your work life and in your career and your money and all those things, because when you're out of alignment, everything else starts to become quite messy externally. You might start seeing problems, hidden expenses coming up, conflicts, problems with other people, different things coming up all at once to add to the disarray because you are out of alignment. So what is happening around you is a representation of how well you are doing. When we're out of alignment, basically what that means is that we are somewhere, we're doing something, we're in a relationship, we are in a place where we know deep down we're not supposed to be, or that we're no longer meant to be in. And yet we still keep pushing and forcing and trying to put ourselves into these, mold ourselves into a pretzel to force outcomes that are not working. And so when we are doing that, we get physically ill, our adrenals burn out, our hormones are all messed up. We can end up with an autoimmune diagnosis. So many things start to get thrown off when we ourselves are out of alignment. So I'll dive into this episode now so you can learn 10 things not to do. So basically, these are the reverse of mistakes that I've seen women make when they are in the cycles of these relationships. All right, let's dive in. Things that you need to do. And the top thing is to leave, right? And as you know, I like to offer you a little bit more than just that type of advice. Now, of course, if you are in a violent relationship, I want to say this as a disclaimer. If your partner is physically violent, threatens physical violence, has been physically violent, is an addict, is volatile, is harming the children, is putting people in harm's way in the home, your children in harm's way, these are all extreme levels where that would be my advice, okay? Because I'm not here to tell you to work through shit when that is going on. That is just a non-negotiable. That is the one time where I will say, do not stay. So that would be the top, do not bonus tip. Do not stay if your partner is violent, if he puts his hands on you, if he even blocks doorways, won't let you leave rooms, physically intimidates you. Not okay, not something that can be worked on. That is when staying is not recommended. Do not stay. Do not work on yourself. Get the hell out and work on yourself. Okay? So I just want to get that out of the way. I am not talking to you if that is your situation. So what we're talking about today is if you're in a relationship with someone, he's got some good traits. He's got some good qualities. There are things about him and the way that he is that you admire, right? You do have those aspects. You might even feel sometimes like he truly does want to change. You might feel that deep down, but it just isn't equating to actual change, right? You might be just feeling this internal feeling, even though everywhere else says they will never change, a narcissist will never change, they're this, they're devil, they're the devil, they're demon spawn, they are this, they're that, they're not human, they're evil. And while, believe me, I have heard some horrible things, and I know that they're capable of horrible things, I still don't like to dehumanize them. But I also say, don't put yourself in harm's way, right? And I like to offer something different here. especially if you're in a committed relationship, a long-term relationship. You have many years with this person, you have kids, you have entanglements, there are other things, and you do deep down maybe feel like he wants to change, or that there is enough good in the relationship that it's worth fighting for and working on. So those are some pieces to really consider as I go through my top 10 things not to do when you discover you're in a relationship with someone who has narcissism. I'm also talking about narcissism as far as traits go, lower to mid-range on the spectrum, not the higher end pathological narcissism with those extreme behaviors that you will see, the infidelities, the lying, the cheating, all of that. Like there's a spectrum, okay? And I don't want to say that all who have traits or narcissism can change, but I do believe that some can if they want to. I really do. And this wasn't supposed to be part of the conversation, but it's them wanting to doesn't always mean that they're going to. Do you know? So it's really about you. It's about you changing. It's about you doing different. It's about you working on yourself. And I don't mean reading books and fixing your libido and all these things. I don't mean that. Fixing your libido that is non-existent due to the dynamics of the relationship, right? Because that's not a you issue. It's a relationship issue, which I've talked about in other episodes here around sexual boundaries and sexuality. But what I really want to clarify, I suppose, in this is that this is all you can do, is focus on you. And if he truly wants to change and save the relationship, that will remain to be seen in the process. Now, I've worked with so many women in my program, formerly In the Cycle, and it is, it's a rare thing that they come through the program with their relationship still intact, where it's actually improving, and someone said this on Instagram, and I just thought it was so profound. She said it's something to the tune of, there's nothing worse than a half-changed man. So a man who has done some changing, but a lot of the other things still continue. And if you go and listen to the episode where I interviewed Karen, having a new marriage with the same person, that has been my most downloaded episode, because she was in ETC last year, maybe it was over a year now, and her going through the process did force her partner to have to change in order for her to consider re-engaging in the relationship. That is an episode to go listen to, because what you can hear in her story is how she stood firm in what she wanted. She would not back down, and she started applying the things and changing herself as I guide in the program, because the program is focused on you, not your partner changing. With that said, let's dive in to the top 10 do not do's. If I was to be able to pull you aside, if I knew you were experiencing the gaslighting and the minimizing and the deflecting and the demeaning comments and the arrogance and the you feeling like your opinions don't matter, or that they don't even land for your partner, you're just feeling unseen, unheard, devalued, unloved. It's just, you're in the cycle. Something's wrong. If I could pull you aside and say, listen, this is what's going on. This is what I'm seeing. And here are the things that I see so many women doing that I want you to take these and run with them and apply them, but they're things not to do. So if you can imagine, I'm pulling you over into the corner and I'm talking just to you. And I'm saying to you, this is what I've learned from my own experience and what I've seen other women go through as far as mistakes that they make, the things that they do that they should not do. So here we go. Number 1, the top one is do not run to counseling or force him to go to counseling as part of your campaign to make him change. I'm not going to go into why. I have episodes here on the show. There's 3 or 4 on why counseling does not work in these dynamics. It will not work. You'd probably have better chance being struck by lightning than going to counseling with a narcissistic partner and having it actually lead to change, or having him go by himself and have that change the relationship. It is not going to happen. It is not enough. Again, see the other episodes in this lineup of episodes, because there's lots where I talk about counseling and why it is not a good option, especially in the beginning. In the very beginning, there's other work that has to be done, and there's some things that need to happen before counseling would even be remotely effective. And even then, you still would have to find someone that is skilled enough to help you deal with the root cause issues, even when, as I always say, counseling is not going to be effective when there's abuse present. The only time counseling is going to be effective is when the abuse has stopped due to your partner doing the work to stop his abusive behavior. Then you can look at counseling to heal and hopefully move forward and repair, maybe. But again, do not run to counseling or force your partner to go to counseling on his own to work on his issues, or even going together. Do not recommend it under most circumstances, unless on the rare occasion you find someone that understands narcissism and has couples therapy experience. They are trained as a marital therapist with understanding of what's going on. They can spot it. Maybe they do like a really in-depth assessment to understand the issues both are coming with, where you have an opportunity to really share and say, like, this is what I'm experiencing and I need your guidance on this. Like, these are all things that would have to happen. So don't just go like pick someone out of thin air and go and sit there in counseling, because that is not going to work. So that's my 2 bits on that. I will get off that soapbox. Hopefully that's clear. Number 2 is do not mingle bank accounts. Do not mingle finances. If you're already in that situation, here I'm going into what to do instead, which I'm not wanting to really get into in this episode, but I will touch on it, is start to separate out your finances. Get your own money, get your own account, get your own finances. Because I can't tell you how many women I've had come and message me and say, I want to join ETC. I know I need this, but he's going to see it on the bank statement, and I don't want him to see that. That is disempowering. You're not able to do the things you need to do to get yourself in a healthy place because he's controlling the money and you feel oppressed financially. The second one is do not mingle your bank accounts and finances. Number 3, do not fixate and obsess over his work. Do not Google for hours on end and look for resources for him. That is like a big no-no. That does serve a purpose in the beginning, because the first phase of the journey is awareness of everything. It's learning and it is education. You do need to have that. But what I see is women years into knowing what they're experiencing, that's all they're doing. They're continuing to Google, listen to free podcasts, spend hours and hours and hours and hours listening to YouTube videos where all they do is talk about the problem, the traits, the behaviors, the narcissist, all of that. It keeps you in the problem. It keeps you stuck in the problem. That's it. The longer you stay learning about narcissists and listening to all these people talking about narcissists, so they're not really giving you any steps, right? So you're basically learning about the problem that is like just so raw. And it's opening up your wounds, it's opening up the trauma, it's creating flashbacks, it's creating in the moment depression and anxiety every time you watch one of those videos, every time you listen to something that is just opening up those wounds. So yes, we need it to a degree for awareness, absolutely. You need to know what you're experiencing to be able to do some different things around that, right? But to stay in the material of what's not working and the problem constantly about the narcissist is not going to empower you to move forward. You have to take ownership and complete responsibility for your side of it. So, number 3 is do not fixate and obsess over his work and look for resources for him. Number 4, do not fall for the I want to change bit. This is not enough. Do not have toxic hope or magical thinking that this time, because it's been 1,000 times I've heard this time he gets it, and his simple statement of, I do want to change, maybe it's true. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that maybe he is truly suffering, and they are suffering. We don't think that, but they are. Because how could you not be and behave in some of these ways, right? Only hurt people act in these ways. But that aside, the I want to change bit, it's not enough, even if they do want to change. There is so much more that needs to happen. And the big thing here, and I do walk you through this in my program, a whole portion of my program is to help you get clarification on what it is he actually does need to do, right? So this is not the same as like focusing on his issues. It's more for you. Here are the things you need to be looking for so you can stay awake. Is he actually changing, or is it just more of the same, kind of hidden, a little more covert, a little more subtle? You have built up a tolerance for it and you're desensitized to a lot of it, so you're not seeing it. Here's what you need to look for. So you do need to be awake to it, but do not fall for, I want to change, and then it's not backed up with anything solid. So that's number 4. Do not fall for the simple words, I want to change, or I want to work on this, or please come back, or please let's keep working on this, and I want something different kind of thing as well. Don't fall for words, because words mean nothing without action. Number 5, do not lose yourself in trying to change him. I see this so much. Women are completely and utterly consumed in their partner's world. They've abandoned themselves on all dimensions and all levels. Their whole life is consumed with the relationship, trying to get their needs met, trying to get him to change, trying to get him to see his errors and what he's not seeing, trying to coach him and counsel him and mother him and parent him. And you lose yourself in that, because where are you in that equation? I mean, if you're pretty near every woman I've ever worked with, you're not in the equation at all. And that is really not good, because then your energy levels are being drained and you don't have the reserves to actually execute on the things you need to do to move your life in a different, healthier direction. We need a certain amount of energy available to be able to create life change. And if all you're doing is leaking it into trying to change him, you're going to end up sick with some kind of illness, diagnosis, label. Something is going to happen physically or emotionally where you've completely lost yourself and you hit that rock bottom. If you're not already there already, some of you listening, that might be exactly where you are. So number 5 is, do not lose yourself in trying to change him. And I should say, don't lose your health also in trying to change him. Number 6, that leads into number 6, is do not neglect you. Do not neglect your health, your goals, your own life, your vision, the things you want to do. Do you want to start that business? Do you want to build that business? Do you want to resuscitate your business, your existing business if you have one, your career? Do you need to get more schooling to get a raise? Do you need to ask for a raise? Do you need to change positions to be able to make more money, or find a position that makes you feel more fulfilled and works better for you? What are your goals? What do you want? Start thinking about that now. Because as I said in number 5, this is a similar kind of building off point, is when you're caught up in their drama and their shit, you're neglecting you. You're not focusing on your goals and the things you need to do, right? And you're not getting the help and the support you need because you're too wrapped up in, is he going to change? You're not focusing on what you need to do to change. So number 6 is, do not neglect your health or yourself, your goals, your own life in your efforts to change him. Number 7 is, don't go it alone. You need support. You need to be able to get the strategy and the coaching and the guidance so that you can see more clearly what is going on and actually create a strategy moving forward, whether that's figuring out if you can save the relationship along with your partner, if that really can happen, if you want it to happen, if he does, if he's willing to do the work. you need guidance around that, or you can get lost spinning for years and years and years beyond this point, trying to change things when it's not really changing, like not changing where you want it to change. So don't go it alone. And building off of number 7, number 8 is do not talk to friends and family about your relationship. I know we need to have those relationships and our friendships and people we can confide in, but for so many reasons, I do not recommend that you use your family, your parents, your siblings, your best friends as your counselors. There's so many reasons. Number 1, you start to burn out the relationships. People start to get sick of hearing it. They don't want to hear it. They may give you advice that does not help. They are not able to see things clearly, to actually give you guidance and challenge you, because they might be feeling so bad for you that they're not willing to challenge you and to help you step into your power. And so if you have parents with narcissism and codependency, they're going to just be another dysfunctional outlet, right? They're not going to be able to give you healthy advice or guidance, because sometimes our parents are living the same dynamics, right? I've seen this with clients with their parents still together or not, I guess, but that their parents have similar dysfunctions. And so how are you going to get the right advice from that situation? The second reason why it's not good to just vent continually to friends and family is it keeps you stuck, and it doesn't feel good. Like, it really doesn't feel good to constantly be venting. And in a sense, when you are constantly venting, you are being toxic to them, because you're not having boundaries around, maybe they don't want to hear me dump this shit on them all the time, every time I see them. So I really do not recommend that you dump continually on friends and family. Does that mean you never share what's up with you? No, but just be discerning, be selective, and have other outlets and other support systems. And oftentimes those support systems are people that we pay because that way it's a fair energetic exchange. I'm paying you to help me work my shit out, and there's no baggage there, right? Whereas when it's friends and family, those lines get blurred. Just don't recommend it. So number 8 is do not dump and confide continually on friends and family, or use them as your counselor or coach. Number 9, do not engage sexually or physically in ways that don't feel good to you. This is a big one. I've talked about this in other episodes as well, so check out previous episodes where I'm talking about this. But this is a big one, because I know many women who are in these relationships have gone years and years and years beyond just not wanting to have it, to the point where they have like an aversion built up because of the dynamic around sex, the focus on sex, the shaming and coercion and guilting and anger and mistreatment that comes from saying no. And so I really don't recommend forcing the issue if you're feeling unsafe or unloved, disrespected. You should never engage sexually with someone that is making you feel that way, because you need to be able to feel safe on all levels. And if you don't, that is most certainly an issue with the relationship and something that's going on there with how your partner is treating you that does not work for you. And your body will always tell you, our body will always let us know when something is off. And so you have to trust that over your partner insulting you for not wanting it, or making the problem all about you when it's actually about the way he treats you. So that's a really big one. I know that's a big one. So that would be the 9th one, is to stop engaging sexually and in physical contact if it makes you feel uncomfortable and you're just not feeling it. And number 10, the 10th and final, do not wait for him to change for you to take ownership of your life. Stop putting your life on hold, waiting for him to see the light. You need to go and do the work so you can see the light. You need to go and do the work so that you are in a healthier place, a clear place, a more empowered, strong place. Do not wait around, because you could waste your whole entire life waiting around, and nothing changes when you do that, right? Don't wait around. Waiting and hoping, it's a waste of time. It's not powerful, right? So instead of waiting for him to change, I want you to look at, well, what do I need to do to take steps in the direction of creating my own change? And if you would like help and coaching and the strategy and the system and the process for how to actually do this stuff, what is the opposite of these mistakes that you need to actually work on? What are the things you need to do? That's what we do inside of my 6-month immersion, End the Cycle. This is End the Cycle Evolve. It is an evolution of my previous program, End the Cycle, but it still includes all the pieces around ending the cycle, but it is much more deeper, transformational healing experience with me over 6 months. So if you want the specialized help and you're done with all of these things and you want real answers and to actually create real change, I invite you to join us inside. The link is leanneoten.com/evolve. I'll also put it in the show notes. So a quick recap. Top 10 things not to do when you're in a relationship with a narcissistic partner. Number 1, do not run to counseling or force him to go. Number 2, do not mingle bank accounts and finances. Number 3, do not fixate, obsess over his work. Google, spend endless hours researching resources for him. Number 4, do not fall for the I want to change dance. It's not enough. Number 5, do not lose yourself in trying to change him. Number 6, do not neglect you, your health, and your goals for your own life. Number 7, do not go it alone. Number 8, do not dump and vent to friends and family. Number 9, do not engage sexually or physically in ways that don't feel good to you. Number 10, do not wait around for him to change for you to be able to take ownership for your own life. I hope this is helpful and enlightening, and that you are able to see maybe where you've been doing some of these things and that you can choose differently, because that is how we create change, moment to moment, choosing different. It can be micro changes. It can be slightly deviating from your normal reaction. It can be something bigger, like investing in coaching. It can be learning new ways to stop the crazy making cycle so you are not engaged in it. There's so many different things you can do. You're not powerless. And the more that you start taking action toward what it is that you want, the more powerful and strong you will feel.